Hello, everybody. Welcome to Live today. I am Christine Josti of Mail Something Pretty, and I just came up here. Everything's still in my basket. I usually try to set things up, and I didn't do that yet. So while people are getting on, I'm going to actually take things out of my basket. I was listening to a podcast, and I got carried away. Or I guess it's kind of a podcast, a live radio station, and I got carried away. All right, so let me see. We're still waiting for a couple people to come on just to make sure this is working correctly. As I do that, I'm going to take out all my, not too many, I almost said ingredients, not too many supplies for today. We're going to make, there's different names for it, but like a strippy, strappy, no, a strippy, scrappy card, or a strip, scrap card, or a scrap strip card. I don't know. You'll see in a second. Hey, Nancy. Hey, I got a great card from you in the mail today. Thank you very much. It's on my table downstairs. All right. I'm saying I came up here kind of quick and wasn't really set up, but I think I should have everything. There weren't as many supplies today. Hi, Bonita. Thanks for joining in today. I know it's summertime and some people have summer plans, so we'll see kind of how we go, but it's nice to know that people are actually watching live. It just makes it easier for me, but also the comments, and you guys can kind of converse with each other. It's kind of like we're all together, right? All right, so I think I'm good. So this is one of the cards. Oops, so see all those strips, scraps, and I have another version too. So I'm gonna make two versions, two different colors. All right, so we are good. Debbie's here. All right, so I'm going to put it on my desk. There we go, which is kind of messy, but that's all right, right? I think those are extra. We'll find out. That goes with that. All right, so first things first, let me actually do this. 1 second. Show. And then I want to come back to comments. All right. Perfect. So I know I showed you guys this last week, but not everyone was here. You guys were enjoying, it was the 4th week, right? I'm a little mixed up. So this is a stationery box. That is my free tutorial for until June 20th. And anyone who orders a tube of glue, this is glue I use all the time, so I figure it's an easy spotlight, product spotlight for this month. If you add a tube of glue in your order and you use the host code, that's, let's see if I can do this. I can't do it. Right on the bottom of your screen, you will get a tutorial on making this box. So I made it with 8.5 by 11 paper. I made one years and years ago, and I actually still had kind of the template, but it was 12 by 12. And it was, I don't know if you remember, the craft paper was out, and it was really strong. It was great for box making, but that's long gone. So I converted my measurements, so you can see there's a belly band that comes off, to use 8.5 by 11 paper. So there's a lid, and then it fits 10 cards and envelopes. I'll just show you the cards quick because they're fun. They use the Country Inn paper, and they're kind of simpler cards. I think for a gift, you don't want them too like complex. So I used the paper from all the paper from the Countryside Inn, and I used a few of the flowers from the Paper Florist dies, and I think that's the last one. So they're kind of simple, but I think they flow nicely together, and you can use any paper you want. And then I show you how to make the belly band too. So that is, I'm not even going to put that together. That is the tutorial that you'll get if you order glue with that host code by July 20th. Okay, let's get to it. So this is the card. Here we go. Here we go. And it uses, so you can see you can use any papers and you can decorate it any way you want. I use the Delightfully Eclectic paper, which really is eclectic because they don't all go together. But I thought those ones kind of went together. And then you'll see in the next example, I use from this, actually I'll show you now. It's from the same pack, but its paper doesn't coordinate together. So but you get 48 sheets of each. Not of each, 48 sheets in the whole pack, which is really nice. So you've seen I've used it quite a lot, partially because of club, because we need so many pieces of paper. All right, I'm going to show you some, not really mistakes, but my trials and errors. My cutter's right there. Okay, so I have my scrap papers. Some of them are cut, some of them I will cut. I need to cut more. All right, so that's over there. All right, we have more people jump on. Hi, Mary Lou, and hi, Ethel. Awesome. Oh, and this is actually kind of, Dad made this. Oh, she put a year on it. 2020. She made this as a Christmas card, and I saved my cards from you guys and in a box. And so I was going through the box for ideas because we all need ideas, right? So I saw this, so I thought this would be good because again, I'm trying to highlight the glue. So I'm going to show you ways of using that. Maybe an alternate way of using the glue. We'll see. You guys might already know my trick. All right, I'll show you that in a second. So we need, I did mine, some I had like little pieces and some I had bigger pieces of scraps. So I made mine all 4 inches wide. You can do whatever you want, but this is here is a little bit under 4. So however, whatever your width is, your papers need, to fit within that width. So all my papers are 4 inches wide. So you're just going to take your paper and normally would cut it nice and straight, but we don't want to cut it straight. So I'm going to tilt it and cut kind of all, none of them are the same size. Let's see if I get some of that inside of the yellow. Yeah. I'm just kind of alternating back and rocking back and forth. So I have, the thicker side, thinner side, and then an opposite. Oops, that's not what I meant to do. Darn it. That was a good piece of the yellow. All right. So actually, we'll start with that piece, and I'll show you why, because it's straight. Keep that aside. Ooh, okay, that should be plenty. And so that is that one. I have extra pieces there, so I need some of the polka dotted. I had one, so I think we just need a couple. So this piece, let's see. This is a 90-degree angle because was one edge and that's one edge. And that's okay. You don't have to. I just started on the diagonal, and that's what I did with this piece I put over here. I'll put both of them over here. We'll decide which one we want to start on. So don't worry about having like a real straight edge because one side will be on the diagonal. All right, so that should be enough for that one. And I already have some of, let me just cut one more. And if we need more, I'll just cut more. But that's kind of it. It's all on the diagonal, just the cutting. So you can see how you can use up scrap pieces, right? Because we all have scrap pieces. All right, so keep those there, and these ones. And I'm going to use my silicone mat. Yeah, Nancy says, it's always amazing how many scraps you accumulate, and this is perfect to use them up. Yes, it is a perfect card for that. Exactly. I don't keep little scraps, but if you had like a square, those I keep, so that's what's good. When I first started out, I kept like everything. All right, so I'm going to start, and we're going to glue these strips to this base. So you're not even going to see this base. It could be any color. I chose white because it's a little thinner so that my card doesn't get too thick, but you can use whatever. You could even, I suppose, pick a pattern paper and then just put it together partly so you could have patterns poking through. It would have, this has a little texture to it, but it would be like the relief of it. So there's always that option. What size did I cut this? I have 2 different sizes. So this one is 3.5 by 4 3/4, which is pretty similar, almost the size finished piece. The second card I'm going to do, I'm going to have a bigger base, but with the same size, and I'll show you a different way of cutting it, and then you can choose, which way you like to do. All right. So I'm going to just tilt this on the diagonal just so I can see it better. So rather than put glue on each strip, I know, and you know, I would get inky because I do. I'm going to just put glue on my paper like that. And then, so this was one of the ones that had that straight edge. I'm actually going to line it exactly straight to start. So we don't have to trim that piece. That's exactly how I want it. And then let's see what pattern. I want to see if I want to do the same pattern. Oh, I actually had an extra. Oh, I can. Okay. I use both sides of that paper, and I cut enough, so I still can. I can do. So this diagonal goes up. So that's not a good one though. Let's see. Use one that doesn't have any yellow in it. This one. I like the yellow of the daisy. So I'm going to use this side. So I'm just going to kind of offset, right? So this is a narrower, this is narrower. Doesn't matter, but if you do all the narrow, it's just kind of, which is a cool look. But just keep that in mind. I try to alternate a little bit. Some of my pieces don't cut that way. And then I'm just going to put them all on. And then daisy. And then I am going to keep with the pattern. You don't have to keep with your pattern. I saw your comment, Nancy. Yep. Sticky, gluey friend. Yeah, because I do get really gluey. I also like how you could kind of see the peaches. So on the next card, I'll show you that too. If you have a direction of your paper, so these little lemons, I guess they're lemons, kind of have a direction. This one doesn't. But if in the next one, you'll see better. You just pay attention to the directions of the patterns if you have any. So that one got a little close, so I'm just going to add some. Oh, look it. I got glue on my thumb. So I'm just going to put it directly. I thought I was doing good. Directly on my paper, and then rub it off. The silicone mat should be sold with the glue. I suppose you don't always have to have them when you replace your glues, but it is key to this glue. All right, so now I'm going to do this one. So I kept, for this one, I kept the two thicker and the two thinner on that one, and I will reverse it there. So you can, I'm kind of going slow, but you can do this really fast, or you can do it slow. So the next one I have is just 3 patterns. This one has 4. That's why it's taking me a minute. All right, so we'll finish up on the polka dotted one. So this is going to hang over. It's thick on my paper, and that's fine. All right, so now I'll just make sure it's on there. These aside for another card. All right, so this one. Oh, Anne, you're watching. Hello. Anne is my friend from Australia who will be live with me in August. You'll see us together. You're not going to want to miss that one because we're going to do a lot of laughing. Okay, so so I have my scraps, and you can kind of see the overhangs. And actually, that's not a bad pattern of papers. This is the piece that I started. Remember, I started it straight, like or level or aligned. So that's this piece. It just makes it easier when I flip it over. It just goes, yeah, you can see it. So I'm just going to line up the edge with my tracking pad as best I can and cut. You could cut with scissors, but this does it nice and straight. And then I'll just rotate it and just kind of eyeballing that edge of the white paper with a cutting, the track pad, I guess it's called. All right, so then it's when it's cleaned up, it looks so much nicer. So let me actually, before I'll put this together, but let me, I'll just show you the other one. I'll glue those on real quick just to show you the difference. All right, so I have these ones already cut. So these ones are blues and purples. That one doesn't belong. So again, remember I used that Delightfully Eclectic paper, which didn't not all the papers go together. A lot of times the packs of paper go together. So this one I use both sides of the pattern, but there wasn't anything else that I really liked with these two patterns. So I just cut fresh freesia, and I don't know if you can tell because I already cut. I embossed it with the ferns, which is one of my favorite embossing folders. There's no like direction, so it could go any way. So keep that in mind too. If you don't have enough patterns, just use a solid. And I'll show you these in a second because those were the ones I didn't like. All right, so that's base. I'm just looking for a piece of white paper that is bigger. It's not here. Let's see if I have one that's big enough for me to cut. Yep, I do. Lesson learned, I left extra white up here. All right, so this piece of paper is bigger than what I need it to be, and that's fine. I just want to show you two ways of cutting it. All right, so I think I have enough pieces cut over there. Here we go. Here we go. I can't wait for you to visit too, Anne. And I'm glad you like the card. All right. Kind of my eye goes on the diagonal. Okay, so I'm gonna. It really doesn't matter. So this one, I'm actually gonna glue. I might glue almost out. The whole thing. I have more glue here. And I want to make, normally when I glue like around, which you'll see when I put the cards together. But this one, you want to make sure that you get glue kind of everywhere because we're putting little scraps. We're just going to use the new one. So you do want to use kind of more glue than you normally would, but you want to make sure all the scraps have something to stick to. So now you'll see this can go a little bit faster. So I am going to, well, I suppose it doesn't matter. I am going to put an edge on that one, and you'll see like some of them will have some white. Yeah, I'll do that on purpose. Some white parts, but that's okay because we're going to cut it off. You can kind of see these go to it. As long as you have your scraps cut, they'll go together pretty quick. I don't have to follow my pattern, but I am trying to follow my pattern. And again, it doesn't matter for the fern embossing folder. It's the same pattern on both sides. We might run out of paper. I have more. Oh, maybe not. I think we'll make it. All right, there we go. So that did a little bit faster. Just make sure it's all pressed on there. I'm going to cover that glue. Okay, so now, so the other one, this one I cut with upside down because I watched where my white edges were. This one, I'm just going to cut frontward facing. So it kind of doesn't matter what size I do. So that straight edge really makes a big difference. All right, so now I need to, the white didn't cut. There we go. So now I'm going to pay attention to my sizes. So we'll do this one 3 3/4. And I know that goes with the 5, just because doing so many cards, but you could make it smaller. So you got all these scraps here. All right, so the same card, but look how different they are just by the patterns of the paper. This is popped up a little bit, so I'm going to use a little dab of glue. Put that down. Okay. Yeah, the purple really made it because I was, you know me, in navy blue, but I stayed away from it. All right, so we'll put this one together first because it's faster. So that is just going to go on top like that. So this is what I meant. Usually when I glue, I just go around. I know Anne had done a thing on her blog about what shape do you go all over? Do you go a square? You know, sometimes I'll go one in the middle. But that's all the glue you need. Like, it's strong. And I will, oh, I guess this one didn't matter on the patterns. Remember I said, here, but these ones did. These were two of the ones I did earlier. So this is one of the first ones I did. Of that same pack of paper, it's kind of busy. Although actually the little polka dots was from a different pack of paper. But even though this is one of my favorite patterns, even though this white flower is white, when it's right next to this really white, it looks kind of dingy. So I didn't think it flowed very well. So that's why, and it is kind of busy because of these. It wasn't the best packing papers. And then I made this one with the same pack of paper. You can see they're all really different. And I did kind of calm it down a little bit with the green, with a fern, but it's busy, busy, busy. And so this one has the flowers are in the direction. So I did make sure that they were kind of all focused in the right direction, but I didn't like it. It was just too busy. So those didn't even get made into cards, but these two did. All right, so then I cut out a scallop. I've done that on another card. It was the one die, but it cuts the scallop plus the circle, and it's from the Give It a Whirl dies. I like it. So this will be saved for something else. And then it pairs up nicely with this circle of stylish shapes, which I use all the time as well. And I'm just going to stamp "Thank you" from the Charming Sentiments, just so you know where I got it from. That "thank you" in navy blue. And I have one chance because I only brought up one. Oh no, I do have another circle up here. I left extra circles up here too. I have just recently re-inked my blue, so look at that. It got nice and dark, which means I'm going to let it sit for a second. And I have the navy ribbon, which I love. And there should be, yeah, here it is. This is old twine, which doesn't matter that it's old. But I'm just going to show you what I did. So this actually can get glued down. I just did tiny, like lightly squeeze little dots. And then I pick it up with tweezers so that I don't get it on me. And I'm going to put it, I like it how it overhangs a little bit. Right there. And this is petal pink, which picks up the little petal pink on the flowers. All right. And so now for the ribbon, I was going to do it ahead of time, and I figured you might want to know what I did. So I just took some ribbon, kind of eyeballed it where I wanted it. And if you want, actually, I'll make it a little easier. I'm going to put a glue dot down. And I don't know if you guys saw my little tip on glue dots. You can make your own glue dots too with that glue. All right, so put a glue dot down. I'll put another glue dot down. I don't like how these are on the outside. I liked them better when they were on the inside. All right, so that's kind of staying in place. I had done my other one without doing that, but that's a little easier. So then I took my twine and I wrapped it. And you could cut a piece, but sometimes I leave it because I don't waste as much. And then I'm just going to make a little bow or a knot. If you don't want to do a bow, you can do a knot. I'm going to cut that. I'm actually going to take one more glue dot. I'm going to get rid of that. And I'm going to put it under this knot here so it doesn't move. That's a little trick too. Okay, so now I can trim my ribbon to whatever length, because if I had guessed, I could have guessed wrong and then I'd have a piece of ribbon I didn't want to use. All right. And now that should be dry. Take dimensionals. Oh, I didn't bring white ones back up here. All right, so we're gonna make go around. we're going to cut dimensionals out of these strips. I have black dimensionals up here, but I'm not going to put black dimensionals on white. So we'll just use our foam strips. And that will go right on top. There we go. And so those are the two cards. Pretty similar. All right, so we'll finish up the daisy one. Oh, I need glue dots. And pieces everywhere. When Ann and I do a live, we're not doing it up here. This is in the corner of my bedroom. And there's not enough room. So we'll figure that out. All right, so I used the daisy dies and the bundle. They're Cheerful Daisies, and I know it was back ordered. I think it's back, although I didn't check, but I think it's back. And it's just fun. So now I'm going to start using it again. I didn't want to use it too much while it was not available because I think that's kind of mean. But this one cuts the 4 flowers plus the leaves in one cut. And what I did is and you can trim them. They're attached very tiny little pieces here. So I already cut them apart. And then there are these layered pieces. So that goes on top. And for this one, I did white on white, but sometimes you could do different colors. I've seen it, the lemon lolly on top of the white looks really nice, but you could play with it. You can turn them into like Gerber daisies, are all different colors. You could, that's not what I wanted. You could turn them into chrysanthemums, right? Because they have the similar kind of petal shape. So they don't have to be daisies. All right, so I did the same thing. I did little dabs of glue, and this layers right on top. And I did not poke out. You can poke out these little holes, and you could put a color underneath, but I decided to leave it. And if I didn't lose it, I have a little yellow piece, which is probably not here. Hold on a second. It was here. There it is. Oh, I had 2 of them. I cut an extra. These little yellow pieces are there's a die that cuts this out, and I'm going to put that right on top. So I feel like I'm cheating a little bit. And I'm going to use a dimensional, which I will make my own. Baylin, you're watching. Oh, I'm excited. Hello, Baylin is this very crafty, creative young woman, young girl. She's with Mary Lou, and she's visiting her grandmother. So I'm glad you're watching. All right. Let's see. Oh, good. You guys will be making, yeah, I think this is a perfect card for Baylin because of all those scraps. All right. So now I'm going to attach that. Again, I always do an outline. And I already pre-cut my layer. This is crushed curry. Let's say these are not my typical colors, so it's funny that you said you like the colors, and I think we are attracted to different colors. But I really like it, but they're not colors I would normally choose. When I do horizontal cards, I like to cut them in half this way. I just think they sit on your table or your counter, whatever they're going to be displayed on better. They flop the other way. And that's going to go on top of that. All right, so now we can, just so you can see better. So I cut out, yep, here they are. That same die set, I just cut out 2, it's the same shaped leaves. I kind of took note of the colors in this paper. To me, it looked like, oh, I didn't do it. Actually, now it looks like olive and shaded spruce. I thought it was garden green and shaded spruce. It doesn't matter. But that's the color I cut. So we are going to kind of put them, there's the right side and the wrong side. Now you can kind of see through, so it depends on how picky you want to be. I think that's fine. So I'm going to lift them up so I don't have to move them again. Ooh, what they did. Lift it up. And then I used, this is Petal Pink, because it matches really pretty. And this one I didn't do anything fancy with the ribbon. I just folded it over. This one I did cut ahead of time. And this one I did. So some ribbons, I just use glue. Some ribbons work well with the glue and some don't. So it will just take a few minutes to dry, but don't worry. I'm going to leave it wet as I put it all together. I'm going to put that right on top. So I'm going to put, again, I'm going to cut some dimensionals to fit on those daisy leaves. Let's see here. That will go sideways. I'm just going to kind of straddle the ribbon. And I cut one more. And now it's going to go right on top. And the ribbon needs to dry, but the daisy kind of keeps it in place. And then for the inside, because it's kind of white and blank, what I did is I had those left over, right? Because it cut the 3 flowers plus the leaves. So I just left it white. So I put the leaves down, put this down. I didn't even poke any of the holes out. Oops, you can. But I cut one extra of those yellow. And it's a little bit bigger on this flower versus the front flower. Now what I should have done, I should have just put a little glue here and then put it down, but I was not paying attention. And then yep, we'll just put a little happy birthday in there. This is shaded spruce to match the leaves of the front from the daisy set. Wishing you the brightest birthday. Close that so I don't get it. All right, so there you go. So those 2 daisies are pretty similar, just depending on the pattern of your paper. And again, same technique with that pattern. I just changed the direction of the card, which doesn't matter because the stripes I put together in the same way. And yeah, so definitely use up your strips. I would love to see, Baylin and Mary Lou, what you come up with. Definitely post a picture. And you guys can see them too by going to Mail Something Pretty, the VIP page, which I think you're all part of. So you can see the cards, and everyone make cards and post, because I want there to be more cards posted on that page for everyone to see. All right, I'm like sweating. So I didn't put the air conditioner on, so it's a little hot up here. Thank you very much for joining me on this summer day. And I'm glad you like the cards. And so, yeah, it's easy. You saw how easy it is. But a big trick is to put the glue on the whole base and then just stick them down rather than putting glue on each strip. It prevents oozing and getting really sticky. So that's kind of my tip of the day for that. All right. So if anyone wants to order tuba glue and whatever else, you'll get the tutorial. I'll send that out. I'm actually typing it now. It should be done by tomorrow. And so I'll get it out to everyone who has qualified that order. Oh, and bonus days. Bonus days are going on for the whole month of July. If you spend $50 Stampin' Up! Products, they will send you a $5 coupon to use in August. So it will be emailed right after you place your order. So save that email or copy the code and save it. And so you don't lose it, because you can use that in August. All right. Thank you very much. I'm going to go get a glass of cold water instead of tea because I'm hot. Okay. Have a great summer day, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.